Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Inman and I'm back again reading Full of Beans. And we're on chapter 13, Dog Days. Avery had his easel set up and he was working on another picture of a little conch house. It was one that the new dealers had recently given a pink paint job. This time his picture matched real life. You sure like painting houses, I told him. Avery dabbed watery blue under the eaves of the house. Why don't you paint something exciting? I asked him. Well, what do you suggest? I threw up my hands. I don't know. How about a sword fight? He chuckled. A sword fight? Does this look like a Hollywood set? I bet the whole world would want to visit Key West if there were sword fights. His mouth twitched in amusement. You might be onto something. I sat there and watched him paint for a while. What's it like in Hollywood? I asked. Oh, it's just like anywhere else, he said with a shrug. But it must be exciting. Hollywood isn't very exciting, kid. It's hard work and long hours. It's just like anywhere else. It's a job. I stared at his painting. Do you really think Mr. Stone sending out postcards and brochures will make people come here? I don't see why not. It's all about telling a good story, just like a Hollywood picture. Well, what's the story? He waved his paintbrush. Come discover a hidden gem, Key West, where the weather is balmy, the ocean breeze sweet, and the architecture unique. You would have a starring role as the charming local boy. Well, that sounds like a pretty boring picture to me, I told him. He rolled his eyes. Then I smiled. Say, could you get me a screen test with Warner Brothers? I think Beans would like to be a star. I wasn't the only one wondering about what Mr. Stone was doing. Lots of folks were talking, and not all the talk was good. I hear they're going after the dogs, Kermit said. The dogs? Porkchop said in disbelief. Tell it to Sweeney. It's true, Kermit insisted. Mr. Stone says they're a nuisance. Now that I thought about it, I hadn't seen quite as many strays around the lanes lately. We saw the dog catchers in action the next day. We were playing marbles in the cemetery. There were always good patches of dirt to be found there. A bunch of new dealers had cornered a dog on Francis Street. One fella had a fisherman's net, and the other had a small chunk of meat. He tossed the meat to the dog, who lunged. As soon as the dog started eating, the other fella threw the net over the hound and dragged it off, yipping. What are you going to do about your dog? Ira asked. The hound in question was fast asleep on the gravestone. I didn't know when Termite had become my dog, but he had. Or maybe I'm just his person. Either way, I need to keep him safe. I tried out some more of my acting on Mall that night. I explained what was going on with the dog catchers, and I asked if I'd keep Termite in the house. Inside? She said dubiously. I'm just so lonely with Poppy gone, I told her dramatically. Please? She sighed heavily. Oh, I suppose so, she said, shaking her head. What's one more pest in this house? But Bolita and dogs was just the beginning. Mr. Stone came after us kids next. We were on Fleming Street with a big pack of kids playing marbles when Mr. Stone came storming up in his Bermuda shorts. I was just getting ready to shoot when he demanded, What are you doing, Peas? Beans, I said. Of course. Now, can you answer my question? What are you doing? All the kids turned to me like I was the big cheese. We're playing marbles, and I'm beating Too Bad here, I said. Too Bad nodded. He sure is. Second time this morning. Mr. Stone wagged his finger at us. You children need to get on out of the street. Why? I asked. Because it's dangerous. It's dangerous playing marbles? You could get hit by a car, he said. What cars? Luckily, I have an excellent solution, he declared. Follow me. Like the Pied Piper, he led us down streets and lanes halfway across town. Here we are, he announced, stopping on a vacant lot. The ground was swampy with buzzing mosquitoes everywhere. There was a simple wooden seesaw in the middle of the lot and dried out coconut palms listed in the back. Isn't this lovely? He enthused. Look, there's a seesaw. Isn't that nice? I guess, I said. He clasped his hands. It will make a much better impression if tourists don't see a bunch of kids running around wild in the streets. So this is like jail? No, of course not, Mr. Stone said with a wave. This is called a playground. Playground, I repeated. He said with exaggerated slowness. It is where children play. I blinked at him. He clapped his hands. Have fun playing. And then he walked away. I realized Avery was right. Mr. Stone was making a Hollywood movie called Key West, and he didn't want any kids acting in his movie. We'd just been left on the cutting room floor. And that's the end of chapter 13. All kinds of changes in Key West. We'll read chapter 14 next. It's called Lessons. See you later.